Welcome. In this video, we will examine the breakthrough coming in XCN coin. Don't forget to subscribe and like and watch until the end to understand. According to Elliott wave theory, when we analyze price movements, it is clear that the first and second waves are now fully completed and the structure is becoming more defined. At this point, the price has started an upward movement from the low levels of the second wave, entering into an uptrend. Second waves typically function as corrective waves, eliminating the weak hands in the market, which allows the transition into the third wave to occur with stronger momentum. Looking at the current technical picture, the price has exited the second wave and is beginning to move towards the start of the third wave. Third waves are generally considered one of the strongest and longest-lasting waves, often marking some of the most significant rallies in the market. Therefore, at this stage, the likelihood of the price gaining momentum and climbing to higher levels seems quite high. When looking at target areas for the third wave, the technical levels marked by the yellow and green lines stand out. These levels have been determined based on Fibonacci ratios and other technical indicators, and the probability of the price reaching these levels is a strong scenario. In particular, there is a high likelihood that the third wave will extend at least to the 1.618 Fibonacci level, making these points important target areas to watch. Additionally, the third wave is typically the phase when market participants show the most interest and investor appetite for buying is at its highest. It is common to see the price making sharp upward movements and progressing with strong buying pressure during this phase. The current technical setup supports this scenario, indicating that the price could increase its upward momentum and move toward the identified target levels. Since the upward potential of the third wave is high in technical analysis, for this wave to progress healthily, an increase in volume and strong market momentum are required. For now, the signals given by the price movements suggest that the uptrend is likely to continue. Particularly at this critical stage where the price has exited the second wave, it is expected to rise with strong momentum towards the third wave targets. However, the price might not immediately break out of the second wave, so patience is necessary. When we closely analyze the chart, we can observe that the price has been under the influence of a long-standing descending trend, and this trend still remains valid. This descending trend line serves as a significant resistance area, limiting the price's upward movements, and the price faces selling pressure every time it touches this level. However, at the moment, the price has reached this descending trend line once again, and how it reacts here is of great importance. If the price breaks this trend line strongly and manages to stay above it, it would create a very positive signal for an upward movement. In this case, it would suggest that the selling pressure in the market is weakening and that buyers are becoming more dominant. For such a breakout to result in a continued uptrend, an increase in volume should also be observed. A breakout with volume indicates that investors view this level as a strong buying opportunity, which supports sharp upward price movements. In technical analysis, breaking long-term descending trends typically results in strong upward movements. This is because, after being under downward pressure for a long time and breaking through the resistance level, it becomes evident that the number of sellers is decreasing while buyers are taking control. This makes the price's upward movement healthier and stronger. Such breakouts particularly attract the attention of investors and increase the participation of new buyers in the market. Additionally, after the breakout, it is expected that the price may test the former resistance area as support. Typically, after a breakout, the price retests this area as support, and if it can hold above it, it indicates that the uptrend has solid foundations. If the price manages to hold at this support level, it would lay an important foundation for the continuation of the upward movement. In such a scenario, the price could break through the resistance levels one by one, leading to larger upward moves. On the other hand, if the price fails to break this trend line, a downward reaction is also a possibility. However, the current technical structure and price movements suggest that the likelihood of this breakout occurring is quite high. Particularly, we can observe that the price has been consolidating recently, and volatility has decreased, which could be a significant signal that a large movement is approaching. When the price moves within a specific range for an extended period and consolidates, it typically precedes a major breakout. Therefore, it is important for investors to closely monitor this breakout and watch for an increase in volume. When a strong breakout occurs, we may see buyers entering the market more aggressively, and the price will begin to move upward. For now, the current technical outlook presents a very positive picture, and if the price breaks through this resistance level, we could witness even stronger upward movements in the coming period. When we examine the chart comprehensively, we can clearly observe the formation of a very noticeable W pattern in the price movements. These types of formations are considered strong reversal patterns in technical analysis and often signal the end of a downtrend. Particularly after a prolonged downtrend, the W pattern highlights the potential for a change in market direction and indicates that buyers are gaining increasing strength. Currently, the price has started an upward recovery from the second dip of the W pattern. In these types of formations, the second dip level typically acts as a stronger support zone, and reactions from this level can support the price's upward movement. If significant buying volume occurs during the testing of the second dip, it suggests that buyers are entering the market, and the likelihood of the price rising increases. However, for this formation to be fully valid, the price needs to break the neckline decisively. The neckline represents the highest point between the two dip points of the W pattern, and when the price breaks above this level strongly, the pattern is considered complete. This level can also act as a psychological resistance level, so the reaction as the price breaks through it becomes crucial. If the price manages to break above the neckline and sustain its position above it, the target for the formation will come into play. Typically, the target is calculated by projecting the distance from the lowest point of the W pattern to the neckline upward. This target is critical because it represents the potential for an upward move from the starting point of the W pattern. Additionally, after the formation is completed, for the price to continue rising, an increase in volume support is necessary. For the upward movement to have solid ground, an increase in volume in the direction of the rise indicates that buyers are entering the market and the trend is gaining strength. If the breakout of the neckline occurs with low volume, the sustainability of the breakout may be questioned, and the price could pull back and retest the level. In summary, the price is currently at a critical point of the formation, and for the bullish scenario to strengthen, breaking the neckline level is of great importance. If the price can break through this resistance and sustain above it, we could face a strong upward wave. Therefore, it is crucial to closely monitor the price movements in the coming period, especially to observe the volume breakout at the neckline. Traders looking to enter positions should consider taking action once this breakout occurs. When we take a broad perspective on the RSI indicator, we can observe that it has been moving within a downtrend for a long time. This downtrend indicated that the market was weak for a certain period, buyers were not strong enough, and sellers were dominant. However, the significant turning point in technical analysis has finally occurred. The RSI has broken this downtrend. The RSI breaking this trend is a critical signal that the balance of power in the market is beginning to shift, with buyers stepping in. However, simply breaking the trend is not enough. A retest process is necessary to confirm whether the breakout is healthy. Just as expected, after breaking the trend, the RSI retraced and tested the previously acting resistance trendline. During this retest, if the old resistance acts as strong support, we can understand that the upward movement is being built on solid foundations, and exactly this scenario occurred. The RSI confirmed the trendline as support and continued its upward movement from where it left off. In the current situation, we can see that the RSI has gained upward momentum after the breakout. This indicates that buyers are gaining strength and that the market's potential for upward movement has increased. If this upward movement continues, and the RSI manages to break critical resistance levels, we could see positive effects on the price movements as well. Furthermore, RSI gaining strength in this way usually signals that momentum has shifted in favor of buyers. At this point, whether the RSI can break through the levels it previously struggled to overcome is of great importance. If the RSI continues its upward momentum and reaches higher levels, this will not only be a technical signal, but also indicate that the market psychology has shifted in favor of buyers. Such a scenario could increase upward pressure on the price movements and lead to stronger buying activity in the market. On the other hand, as the RSI continues to rise after the breakout, price movements are expected to accompany this upward movement. This is because upward reversals in RSI generally set the stage for positive trends in the price as well. If volume supports this process, we can say that the upward movement is built on a solid foundation. Overall, the fact that the RSI has broken the downtrend and successfully retested it is a very positive development. This shows that the market is starting to shake off the downward pressure, and the potential for upward movement has increased. Moving forward, it will be important to closely monitor whether the RSI can sustain this upward momentum. Therefore, the most critical factor to pay attention to at this stage is whether the RSI can continue its upward movement without losing momentum. If this upward momentum is maintained, we could see a significant upward movement in the price. There's nothing in the RSI that would block the price from advancing. Yes, friends, this is how it happened in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in the next video.